No. All right.
I'm gonna trade you 2 sheep for that wood. Tell me, honey, does that sound good? 'Cause all I really wanna do is take away longest road from you, yeah. Welcome to these tabletop sessions. Welcome to these tabletop sessions.
Hello, fellow gregarious geeks and gamers, and happy holidays. Welcome to the 43rd episode of the Tabletop Sessions podcast. This is your monthly dose of tabletop gaming stories and shenanigans. My name is Elias, and with me today, a man who brings more joy than some would say, even jolly old Saint Nick. It's jolly old Hippocrates.
Hello, guys and ladies.
Merry Christmas, Hippo. Happy holidays. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine because I kind of stopped working. Like I'm working one day and I'm sitting at home like 3 days. And it's so funny that yesterday, I registered in an online diplomacy game. And because today I was on leave, I couldn't text. I was just outside with the family, enjoying life in Doha. And people in the group were typing, "Oh, guys, we need to wait for Hippocrates because he's working and he cannot join and he cannot submit his moves. And we need to wait until afternoon." And it was exactly the opposite. Exactly because I was not working. I was away from my computer, so I couldn't play my moves. And it was so funny for me reading all this stuff.
That's hilarious. So basically what you're saying is you need to go back to work, otherwise you're not going to be able to play board games, is what you're saying.
Online, yes, because even now I can still meet people and play games. But yes, I mean, are you playing online board games on holidays?
No, but if you want to send Ipo's boss this podcast, feel free. He works at...
No, I mean, my boss will understand, I guess, because I'm not playing board games all day. I'm doing a job, whatever it is. Then I'm going to play my move. My move will take like 2 minutes, right?
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
It's a very nice break between your everyday job.
Tasks.
Unless you love your job and you don't want these interruptions.
Yeah. What a crazy concept.
Maybe you are a professional board game tester, right?
But I don't. I don't really play. I've not been playing any board games online really. Like at this point, like I try to maybe play. I try with like some friends sometimes to play online, live, like real time. But I have zero like turn-based games going on. I don't know what happened. It just kind of stopped.
Yeah.
And
I think we got overdosed during COVID.
I think so.
I quit Board Game Arena for 1 year now. And I don't feel going back. And because of the awards that we're doing in this episode, I called my friend in Athens and I told him, okay, you need to go and vote in that webpage. And he told me, only if you join me in an Arc Nova game in Board Game Arena. And I said, fuck you, Felipe. Okay, I'll do it. And now I'm playing an Arc Nova game.
I wish you the best of luck in your addiction, getting over your addiction. But, I think it's important that we distance ourselves from friends who want us to still be addicted and still be users. You know what I mean? So, like, as much as, I get that he's your friend, it might be important to distance yourself during this recovery process. So
maybe it was a cry for,
for help.
No, to reunite with your friend because he lives in Athens. We don't talk too much nowadays, so that was like an excuse. And he loves me so much. Maybe
that's what they say about drugs too.
This is the way I want to see it.
Yeah. So I just recently had a trip to DC. I went. My friend is having a kid, and we went to the baby shower and everything, and it was really good to see everyone.
And
But while I was in
sorry
DC,
to interrupt you, but this is Washington for people that they don't live in the
yeah,
Americas.
Washington DC.
Now
Washington
it is a
District of
Canadian,
Columbia.
so they call it DC.
That's right, in DC. But while I was there, I had a game day with Mo and Erica. We've talked about it before when they came up here. I met Mo at this board game cafe. It was called The Board and the Brew. If you're in the DC, Maryland, I don't know what they call that area. They call it like the DMV or something, which to me is like the Department of Motor Vehicles. So, but I think they call
Are
it
you
like,
talking about the DMV in the DC?
it's like DC, Maryland, Virginia, right? The DMV.
DMV.
Anyway, if you're in that area, it's a really cool cafe. They got good food. They have a lot of game selections. We had a great time. We played a bunch of games. We played The Climbers a couple times, which is a game I've always wanted to try. It's this like, as Eugenio put it looks like a Soviet cartoon. But it's
What is
it's
it?
basically like this. Well, it's like you're climbing blocks, but it's actually a bit of a brain burner.
Like Rhino
And
Hero type.
no, it's not a kid's game. I wouldn't say it's a kid's game. It's quite difficult actually. But basically, like all the blocks have different. This was not one of the reviews I wanted to do, but all the blocks have different colored faces, and every turn you can like move a block, and then you can move your dude up along the tower, and then your turn will end if like everybody passes and nobody has gone higher in that turn. You have like a long ladder and a short ladder, and you can use those once in the game, and then that's it. And a blocking disc, which you can use once in the game, and that's it. So it's actually a bit of a brain burner because you're trying to figure out how you're doing and what your enemy. Yeah, it's spatial reasoning in 3 dimensions. It's
Sounds
actually
great.
quite cool. I tried it. I enjoyed it. It's a filler. I also got to play Dune Imperium, which I've kind of avoided just because it looks a bit boring. And like when I saw like the combination of deck building and worker placement, I was like, oh, Lost Ruins of Arnak. I didn't like that game. Like it was just like an average game for me. But I really like Dune Imperium, and I want to pick up a copy maybe of the new version. And I think it's a very good game. It's like if Lost Ruins of Arnak was a good game.
Yes, that's a good way to describe it.
Lost Ruins of Arnak, don't get me wrong, it's a good game for like one play, and then it's kind of repeat, right? So Dune Imperium, I feel like maybe it'll feel the same. Well, because I played Lost Ruins of Arnak, I loved it, I bought it, and then I felt it was like just the same thing over and over. And I've only played one game of Dune Imperium, but I think it's worth picking up a copy and trying it out.
Dune Imperium, I feel it's a mass-up of amazing mechanisms, but I feel the deck building aspect is kind of weak. I mean, I have played the game only
Maybe.
like 3 times, not more.
I don't know. I felt it was pretty good because it has a traditional deck building thing. It's just a bit slowed down.
Yeah.
I like the decisions you make. There were a lot of choices, right?
Yeah.
Like you're like, what can I do? Like, you're like, do I build up my military? Do I go and try to get more influence? Do I go for getting an extra worker? Like, there's so many choices. I like the number of choices. It felt good because that's what a good game is to me. It's just like interesting choices. Then Erica came and we played Res Arcana, which is the first time I played it. Not my jam, but I can totally see why people like it. Very quick tableau building game. Really cool. Not for me, but, you know, I would play it. I enjoyed it enough to play it. Yeah, and like we ate, and then I went and picked up, well, I was supposed to go pick up Demo, but the traffic is so bad in DC, and I just met her at home because she was flying in.
Especially in DMV.
In the DMV, yeah, foreign motor vehicles stuff. But yeah, so it was really nice. And I got to hang out with Mo. And then the other day we saw Mo and Erica. I played my first Carcassonne 4 times with their kid. So that was really interesting.
How long is she or he?
He's like 4, and he won 2 of the 4 games. Like, and I was trying to beat him. So
wait, what is my first Carcassonne?
It's like a simplified Carcassonne. It's like if Carcassonne just had
without the farmers.
Roads. Yeah, it's just the roads, but you don't have the choice of when to put your workers. Basically, the tiles have colored workers printed on them. And when you place a tile, whoever has that color gets to place those workers on them.
Oh,
So anyway, we had a great time. He invited me to his birthday, so I'm gonna go.
when is that?
March-ish, mid-March. Yeah.
So, listeners, you can wait for a Carcassonne
In-depth
review in,
review.
in March. No, how do you call it? Not basic Carcassonne.
My first Carcassonne.
My first Carcassonne. My first Carcassonne.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's great. It's great.
I had an experience yesterday. I was playing Deception. I sent a picture to the group also with the this new additional Greek cards that they have like Greek salad and ouzo, and one of them had the Iliad, the Odyssey and the Iliad, and the clue that the forensic scientist gave to the investigators is that in the scene of the crime, it was found a uniform. So not it was found a uniform. The scene of the crime, the location was school. So I was insisting that she is the killer because she had the Iliad and the Odyssey in her cards. And Tony, my friend, looks at me and he says, Iliad is usually in a library in our countries. Maybe in your country is in a school, but but in our country. And I was thinking, oh yeah, you're so right. I mean, for us it's part of the basic curriculum, but for other countries, I guess it's not. And apparently, yes, he was not the murderer. So behold of Greek investigators in other countries.
Yeah. Was this deception murder in Athens?
Yeah, it was funny because there was this girl and she says, "Oh, you have this is a Greek game, but you have the expansion for Hong Kong." Because the name of the game is Deception Murder in Hong Kong. No, I said, this is the basic game. I got some cards from a lady.
That's great.
You can hear the story in episode 40, I guess.
Episode 40? Is it just a random guess? I don't think.
I mean, it happened in July.
Doubt that was episode 40, considering it's episode 43.
Yeah, so I talked about
how
it like
months work.
in September, I guess. Maybe I don't know.
I picked up a game, the newest Splotter game, Horseless Carriage. In Canada, that usually goes for 183 Canadian dollars, which is insane for a Splotter game.
How
so
much
I
is
usually
it
try to pick up Splotter.
in real money?
Hold on, let me check.
No, I mean approximately. I'm not
It's
asking.
137 US dollars.
Okay.
So that's a lot of dollars. So I was like, I don't know about paying that much for this game. So on Black Friday, they had a sale on it. And I had, I buy a lot of games. So I had a
50%?
I had like 20 something. It was more than 50. So I had like 20 something thousand points with Board Game Bliss. So I spent 12,000 points to get another $20 off on it. And then I ended up getting the game for 67 Canadian dollars, which is a third of the price. And it was brand new.
Round of applause.
And so I paid basically 50 US bucks for a brand new copy of Horseless Carriage. And for that price, it is definitely going to be worth it because it's Splotter. So, I'm feeling pretty good about myself.
You can definitely sell it tomorrow for 200 Canadian dollars.
For sure, but I won't do that because that's awful.
And because our listeners waiting for you to review that game. Plus myself.
Oh, absolutely. As soon as I get it played.
How many players is that?
4 would be my guess. I can't remember. I did punch everything out. And it has a lot of stuff for a Splotter and a lot of iconography. It's 3 to 5. Sorry. 3 to 5 players. It has a lot of like little tokens and like usually they've got like little resources and things like that, but this one just had like a lot of like different boards. It felt a bit clunky in terms of punching it out, and a lot of iconography, which is not something Splutter usually does. But I'm keen on trying it. I like the idea of the spatial reasoning stuff. I like the idea of setting up markets. I like the idea of building your factory floors. I love tile laying. I love Splutter. I'm very excited for it. As soon as I get it played, I'll let you know. Especially for $50. I'm very excited for $50. So,
Now I'm excited about it.
yeah, for $50.
No,
I'll sell it to you for $100.
No, I mean I'm excited to hear about it, to hear more about it.
Yeah. For sure, I'll be reporting on it as soon as we get it played. It's punched out. It's ready. We'll get it played.
And what else did you play all these days?
Actually, recently, just this weekend, actually, we our friends Chris and Matt, we were like, oh, we need to, I think I talked about this last time, the fact that we hadn't been playing a lot of games. They heard on the podcast. I reached out. I was like, guys, let's get a game in. And they're like, yes, absolutely. And when it came time to pick a game, we were like, it's so busy and everything's so like on top of each other. We're like something brainless if possible. So Chris was like, well, I have Cthulhu Death May Die. And I'm like, all right, perfect. Let's do a dice chucker. I'm in. So Dima and I went over. It's a game by Rob Daviau, famous for the Legacy system. Eric Lang, famous for being Canadian.
I mean,
for Blood Rage. And
I feel that these two guys are the most famous two designers right now.
They are up there for sure. It's published by Simon. Come on. And it's published in 2000. Come on, as Steve Spang of the Secret Cabal says. But it was published in 2019. I think it was a Kickstarter. It's the one where they had like the 4-foot tall Cthulhu miniature that you could buy. Miniature. Which is larger than a child. Yeah. But my friend did not buy that one. But he bought everything else, basically. So we played the game. We called it the Cthulhu Holiday Christmas Special. We got together. We tried to get Cthulhu snacks. So we had gummy worms, so we could do little Cthulhu mouth tentacles. We got like little pies that had star shapes on them for like, star spawn and all that. It's hard. And I got like beers with like, insanity as a theme, like Mad Tom and stuff like that. So we tried our best. It's hard to get Cthulhu themed snacks and drinks when it's Christmas and not Halloween, just in case you're wondering. So, so I don't really want to talk about like the mechanisms of this game. It's not that complicated. You're going around fighting cultists and stuff, and then they're gonna summon Cthulhu. In our case, we played Cthulhu. They're different they're different elder ones that you can fight, and then you got to fight Cthulhu, and then you gotta close the portals and make sure the world doesn't end.
Co-op?
Yes, it is co-op.
Ah, nice.
And yeah, and the point of the game is you're getting stuff, collecting things. Things are happening in the game when you draw from a deck. You get a certain amount of actions. You can move, you can attack, you can use stuff, you can do scenario-specific stuff. We played it twice. We lost twice. Actually.
That's good,
quick
actually.
enough. Yeah, that's a good thing for me for a co-op,
Yeah.
for sure.
For the first
I want to
time
tell you
play.
some fun stories. Yeah, forget the gameplay. You're not getting the game for the gameplay. You're getting for the stories. So let me tell you some stories, all right?
Wait.
I was a warrior.
Is there a spoiler in these stories?
No.
Okay.
I was, Cthulhu's the bad guy.
Oh, that's a huge spoiler.
I played a warrior nun. So I was like a nun, and in the picture she was holding like a flintlock pistol in one hand and a dagger in the other hand.
Oh my God.
And I was going around, let's say, saving cultists.
Saving the world.
So, but she's kind of built like to be a tank in the game because she has like these brawler abilities and stuff like that. So if you get the right items to her, she can like do a lot of damage and soak up a lot of damage. So it was really funny. Dima wanted me to pick the one character called like Ahmed Yassin or something like that. And I was like, that's racism. So I picked the warrior nun. And it was just so much fun getting to be the warrior nun. I really enjoyed that. And they do have a lot of fun characters. Like Chris was this possessed child called the Kid. And it was horrifying, sort of in that, come play with us forever and ever and ever, that sort of thing, right? But the items he happened to find were like bottle of whiskey. Or like, you have an alcoholic possessed child running around this house, stabbing and killing like cultists. It's such a horrifying concept. But yeah, so basically it's Chris's fault we lost both games. he's too One of the cool things in the game is you have like a type of insanity that is happening to you. So you draw a card at the beginning, you have that type of insanity, and it sort of does something whenever your insanity goes up a certain amount. So whenever you're losing sanity after a certain threshold is hit multiple times, your type of insanity will have an effect. The first time we played, Chris was like standing in the middle of the house, and all the monsters were all basically one room away, and Cthulhu hadn't been summoned yet, but all the demons were there. And his insanity was everyone comes one step closer to you. So basically everyone ended up in the same room as the Kid, the alcoholic demon child. And if any of you die before Cthulhu's summoned, you lose. So it was a quick game. It was like, that one was like under an hour. So we're like, all right, let's set up and play again. So we set it up, same scenario, played it again. And then this time, Chris at one point is like, Cthulhu's there, everything's happening, we're in the middle of massive combat, and Chris has something called a beaker, an item. And that's if you throw a beaker in a room that has like fire in it already, the fire will explode and everyone will take damage equal to the amount of fire there. And it has this thing in the game where when you go through a space, if there's any monsters in that space, they follow you, right? If you don't have the sneak ability. So Chris comes up with the great idea of, well, the middle room, that same room as the last time, that's really on fire. There's like 4 fire tokens in there. If I run through these 2 rooms and take all these monsters and cultists with me into that middle room and then throw my beaker down, all of them will take damage, which is a great concept. Except the only thing you can really kill with that amount of damage is the cultists. So he runs into that room and he's like, I don't know if I should do it. It seems, because then I also have to deal with fire damage. And Dimo's like, this is stupid. Don't do it. And me and Matt were like, do it. So he runs into the room and he throws the beaker in. All the cultists die. And like he's trapped in a room with Cthulhu, a star spawn, and a couple more like horrifying demon things. Anyway, we lose that game shortly. We had a great time doing it. So what I would say is it is a dice chucker, and it's very much a you go around, find things and equip them thing, but it's clever, and the rolling doesn't feel as horrible because you can sort of gain stress to re-roll. Plus the distribution on the dice is not as horrible as only 5s and 6s hit sort of thing. You can get a lot of abilities that mean all sorts of symbols start hitting for you. So you can really like buff yourself up pretty quick. The dice doesn't feel terrible. You always feel like you kind of have an option to re-roll stuff. And there's good stories to be had in it, and it's short as opposed to like Arkham Horror, which used to take like half the day.
Yes, that's important.
So I think it's a very good one. I think of all the Cthulhu style games that I've played, and I haven't played, I should make it as a point, I haven't played Mansions of Madness, but all the like Arkham Horror, Eldritch Horror sort of stuff, Elder Sign, I think this was my favorite, and it was definitely helped by the ridiculousness of the stories that happened. So that's my review of Cthulhu Death May Die. If you're in the right mood, if you get the right snacks, it's a great time. Cthulhu Death May Die.
How did you feel about the story? Was there any story unraveling as you're playing?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. the story was a bunch of cultists are trying to summon Cthulhu. Go in there. You got to make sure they do summon Cthulhu and then kill him. That's kind of the
Or
thing.
is there a campaign mode maybe?
I'm not sure. I don't know in the game. I wanted to put as little brain cells into this as possible. But I just wanted to share those stories because this is what the podcast is really about. Like, if you're counting on us to review the ins and outs and the qualities and abilities and the effectiveness of fun components in the game, we're not the people for that. We're idiots. So we're just talking about what happened. And
what was our experience with the game? Yeah.
Yeah. And it was a good time. We enjoyed it. And that's more than I can say for most of the other Cthulhu dice chuckers I've played. So, yeah. Cthulhu, Death May Die.
So, speaking about these monsters, I had this friend that I think he owns like 3 games. One of them is Terraforming Mars, I remember. The other one is Epic Spell Wars of the Battle Wizards.
Oh, God, I hate that game.
Annihalaggedon, something between Annihilation and Armageddon, I guess. Annihalaggedon. What is the name? Annihalaggedon 2 Extreme Natural Legends. So I have played this game.
So wait. So if I could, the full title, if you're looking for it, all right, get ready. Epic Spell Wars of the Battle Wizards, Annihalaggedon 2 Extreme Nacho Legends.
Yes, exactly. So I thought that I have played this game back in 2019, and I hated the game. I checked and I have rated 4 out of 10 in Board Game Geek. And
too high.
And apparently, I played this game, 3 players, and I loved it. It was an excellent game, and I couldn't say why I liked it and why I didn't like it the last time, because it was like 5 years ago. So today I realized
I'm so disappointed in the person you've become.
Yeah, but I realized that the first time I have played Epic Spell Wars of the Battle Wizards, Annihalaggedon deck building game, which was the number 1.
Okay.
So this is Annihalaggedon 2. And my friend Ziv, he told me, no, the first one was not good. This one is the good game. So I remember the first one, I couldn't understand what was going on. I mean, there was this friend of mine, Ross, she did the combo and she was just killing me every turn. I was doing nothing. But in this game, everything was completely different. First of all, it's a game 2 to 5 players, okay? It's supposed to be played in 45 minutes. The designer is Corey Jones and Eric Larsen and Ben Stoll. And I checked that only one of these 3 guys was in the designers of the first game. It's a deck building game. You play cards, you play locations, you play wizards, you do some damage to other people, and you buy cards. So it's based on Dominion and any other deck building game that you know. What I loved in this game is that some cards and most of the cards are like absurdly powerful. So it reminded me kind of Glory to Rome, where you can do some unbelievable stuff with some specific cards. Also, what I loved is that dying is so common that nobody cares if you do some damage to them. So there's no grudges. Like, I deal 5 damage to you and 7 damage to you, and you die. And it's okay, because in the next round they will die again, or maybe, or something like that. In these games, I love the shopping phase of the game, where you have the money and you go then to the market and you say, oh, there are so many good cars, what should I buy? And the last thing that I loved is the illustration. I think the illustration in this game, they really make the game like one level higher. And the illustrations are from a guy named R.S. Bixby. Check this guy out. I mean, I really loved it. One negative thing that I have for this game was that I didn't like it the first time I played it, but then, as I said, I need to remove this negative part because I didn't play the same game. I have played Annihalaggedon 1 deck building game, which was actually released in 2019. So it's a very cool game, very fast game. I really loved everything about it, so check it out. Epic Spell Wars of the Battle Wizards, Annihalaggedon 2 Extreme Nacho Legends.
Okay. First of all, I want to apologize formally to Carl Chudik, the designer of Glory to Rome, for Ipo's comparison that this game is a lot like it has any similarities to Glory to Rome. Okay, next. It turns out the ones I've played is called Epic Spell Wars of the Battle Wizards Duel at Mount Skullsfire.
Oh,
And it has a different artist and also different gameplay. It doesn't have deck building. So
really?
I didn't realize that these Epic Spell Wars of the Battle Wizards were like different games. I thought they were just all like, oh,
Yeah,
stupid funny cards to
yeah, me
expand
too.
things. And so I can't really comment on it, but I really disliked it with all the fire of 1,000 hells in my body. That's how I felt. I hated it with the heat of 1,000 suns. I don't know. I could not stand that game, and I'm glad to hear that it's not the same game. So,
Yeah, I'm telling
and
you.
they're improving apparently because Annihalaggedon 2 Extreme Nacho Legends is obviously better than Annihalaggedon 1
Yeah,
deck building game.
yes,
So
it is.
thank you for that. Yeah. We played a very similar game. 18xx game. it's called Shikoku 1889. As you know, it's very similar to Epic Spell Wars of the Battle
Yeah,
Wizards. Yeah, same.
it's almost the same. I don't know why.
Yeah,
Why would you buy?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. If you've played one, you don't need to play the other. But we talked about it last time that I got the copy after backing it on GameFound, and it's designed by Yasutaka Ikeda, uh, published by Deep Thought Games, originally in 2004, but this is the pretty version that I have now, which is the new version. Um, it's the same sort of game as like I talked about 1880 China recently. It has a lot of similar mechanisms because they're both based on 1830 and 1829. But neither of them, I mean, but this one doesn't have the whole communism thing. And of course, there's small changes throughout. What's very interesting about this one is I'm not going to go into, again, a breakdown of how 18xx works. Just check out our last episode where I talked about 1880 China. That'll give you an idea of how 18xx works. Very similar concepts. Um, this game, it's a much smaller map, like really tiny, really tiny. But I'm okay with sort of a tiny map. I was just kind of like, okay, I'm ready for a knife fight in a phone booth. You know what I mean? I'm ready to fight to death for this city. But actually, it was really hard to develop because it's very terrain heavy and very expensive to build. But also, something I didn't think of, there are very few tiles available in the stuff. So like the tiles are limited, and there's only like a couple of each type, and most of them just have one of each tile.
Even the plain ones.
Yes, even the plain ones, they're limited. And
Wow.
the first thing that happened, which messed me up, is I placed a little like the first thing next to me was this little yellow little town, and I put a particular piece on there, a yellow level town tile on top of it, and I didn't realize that in this game you cannot develop towns past level yellow. And just from that first tile that I played, I closed off like a third of the board to my company without going all the way around, which I've already told you it's a very expensive board because it's very terrain heavy. And I did not realize that. So like I love that. I love that I screwed myself over in turn one. It's like, all right, now I know
Why
something.
did you love that? I mean,
I
how
like
did
that
you love
stuff.
that? Anybody else would say that? Oh, it ruined the experience for me.
Yeah,
It's fucking
well,
like
if you're like that, probably
how much time?
18xx isn't
How
for
much
you.
time
But
did you
like,
play that game?
hey, well, that's a great question. So I'm going to get into that. It took about, I'd say like 5 hours to play the game, I think, all in all, which isn't too bad for an 18xx, but we were playing 3 players. But I'll get into that in a second. In this game, the way that the stock round versus OR works is initially you have 1 operating round, 1 stock round, 1 operating round, 1 stock round. When you change era, you go to 2 operating rounds, 1 stock round. And then when you get to the last era, it's 3 operating rounds, 1 stock round. And the last train you can get is the diesel train. And the diesel train can go as far as possible on your track. That's how you know how like tough this map is. That this train can literally go unlimited amounts, and they're fine with that in the game. You know what I mean? They're completely okay with that concept because it's such a tough map, which I loved. So we played it 3 players. It took about 5.5 hours, but we had all the companies in play. So whether you have more than 3 players or whatever, this is the maximum amount of companies that can be in play. So the operating rounds would be exactly the same, which is all the companies have to run, whether there's 3 players who own all of them or there's 5 players who own all of them. It's the companies that run, not the players. So it might be a little longer to account for a longer stock round, which is when the players are buying stock and stuff like that. But I don't think it would be long enough because the stock rounds tend to be shorter. I don't think it would be long enough to really make a dent. So maybe if you go up to the full players, maybe account for an extra hour or something like that for the full length of the game. But all the companies were in place, same as if we had 5 or 6 players. But as I said, this is a podcast about stories. So I want to tell you guys a story. So, you know, I love 18xx games, and I will say that this game is one of the better ones that I've played. I really liked it. I really liked the map. I liked how harsh the tile selection is. I loved the stock board, because as opposed to something like 1880, where the highest stock value you could get was 200, this one had a much higher stock limit maximum. So because of that, it became about a portfolio game. And unlike 1880, where you can only have 12 shares total, not 12 shares, but 12 stock share cards. And this one you could have 19. So there was a lot more buying and selling and manipulating the stock market. It also has basically penny stocks, which are like, if a stock reaches a certain level, it doesn't matter if you pay out or not. Like you can basically withhold, I believe, I can't remember right now, but I believe you can basically withhold income. Oh, no, sorry. You can sell the shares without it dropping in value. So once a stock becomes worthless enough, it also doesn't count towards your stock limit. So you can have like a bunch of smaller stocks.
Yes, I like that.
Yeah, it's very cool. So penny stocks don't count towards your portfolio. Very cool concept. Overall, very solid game. Highly recommended. Great point to get into that 1830 style game. And it's as beautiful as an 18xx can be, which isn't very beautiful, but beautiful enough. So I highly recommend 1889. Now, let me talk about the fun story. Before I do you have any questions about the gameplay?
Not really. I wanted you to compare this game with the other 18xx you have played.
All of them?
Yes.
So 1846, I think, is the most operationally heavy of the ones that I've played. It's not very much. It's not really a stock game, you know. 1880 China is very much a cash game where you're trying to just get paid out as much as possible. 1830 and this have a similar thing in that it's kind of a good balance of operations, stock collection, and cash collection. So it kind of lets you collect everything, you know. It's not simple like 18 Lilliput. It's more complicated than 1846, but it's a good step before something like 1830 or 1880, which are more complicated. So if you're playing in that sequence, I would definitely go like 18 Lilliput, then 1846, then 1889, and then 1880 or 1830. That's kind of how I would approach that in terms of complexity. But I'd say it's in my top 2 that I've played of 18xx games. I really liked it, actually. Yeah, really happy I have it. But one of the fun things that happened is actually based on a rule. We fucked up a rule, okay? So in this game, you can only sell a maximum, as in 1846, you can only sell a maximum of 50%. Not you can sell a maximum. There can only be a maximum of 50% of a company in the open market. So basically, if 50% of a company is in the open market, you can't sell shares of that company to the open market.
Oh, yeah.
We missed that rule, but it led to some incredible chaos that I want to tell you about. So basically, we had all invested in Cheng's company. And at one point, we see that Cheng has just sold all his trains from that company to other companies. And we're like, oh boy, things are about to happen. So I sell my 2 shares in Cheng's company, and then Cheng sells his 6 shares in his company, which again could not happen. As per the rules, he could have sold a maximum of 3, so it wouldn't have worked, but we fucked it up, okay? Like, it happens. He sold 6 of his shares. So now the only person left with any shares in the company was Carol, who had 2 shares in this company that had no train and basically was all sold into the company. So Carol inherited.
And he's the president.
He becomes president of that company because it was Cheng's company. Carol becomes president of this company, and you have to have a train in that company. So you have to basically spend all the company's money. If you cannot buy a train, you have to make up the difference by paying all your personal cash as the president. If you cannot make up that difference, you have to sell all your shares until you can have enough money to buy a train. And if you can't do all that, the game's over. Bankruptcy is one way to end the game. Yeah. So it would have caused bankruptcy.
This is 1830 also rules.
Yeah, exactly. So he doesn't have enough cash because the company comes broke, essentially, from Cheng. He puts all his cash into it, but this is late in the game. Like, the only trains available are like brown trains at this point. Like, it's expensive, you know? He pays all his cash, and then, this is the brilliance here, he has to sell stock. He has to sell shares. But the problem is, he's decided in this game to invest heavily in me, right? All my companies, which were doing really well. So he starts selling all my shares, decimating his portfolio, and my shares just plummet, just woo, free fall. So in one move, whether intentional or not,
domino effect.
Cheng bankrupted Carol because at the end of that, when Carol bought the train, he had 2 shares, which were the shares in that company that he inherited, $0 in cash. And all my shares, which were the most valuable shares in the game at the time, plummeted almost into penny stocks. And I was like, this is like Machiavellian, you know what I mean? Like Machiavellian? Yeah. It's like, you know, it's
ruthless.
Exactly. We built our way back into the game. We did our best. Carol was, of course, upset because it was not a legal move, right? We figured out later when it was too late to like sort of walk it back, or we kind of were like, it's okay, we're not going to walk it back, but we really should have because it destroyed the game. And me and Cheng were in the 6,000s in terms of money at the end. And I was just $56 short of beating him. And it broke my heart because he's really good at these. I've never beaten him at an 18xx game. And if my stocks hadn't plummeted like that, I would have beat him. And I was like, I'm with Carol. We should have walked it back. But I'm glad we didn't, because it was, it was a mistake, but it was so cool to see how the inheritance could have a knock-on effect in terms of stock portfolio. And essentially it took out both his opponents from contention. Me close to being out of contention with one move like that. It's just great. And I really enjoy it. It's stuff like this that makes 18xx games great, It's the stuff like the impact, the market that is created, the inherent economy between the players that makes it so good. So there you go.
It's very strange for an 18xx game to be good with 3 players.
That's
How
true.
did that go?
That's true. I thought it was great because it was the same number of companies, right? I think there's only 8 companies in the game. So we basically had all the companies in play. The only difference was the number of private companies that were available for auction. One company wasn't available. So I would like to try to play it with more so that I can get that other company in the game. And it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
What is the maximum player count?
6, I believe.
Hmm.
Yeah, 3 to 6.
Okay,
it says best with 3 to 4 on BGG.
Very interesting.
Yeah, had a great time. I think we all need a bit of a break from 18xx's now. I was like, so 1830 this weekend, and then Carol's like, I think I need a minute, you know. So
And it looks very nice
it does. It's quite pretty.
for
Yeah.
again for an 18xx.
Yeah, temper your
Okay.
expectations. Yeah.
Perfect.
Shikoku 1889.
As you were playing the last time with Chinese communists, this time I played another game named Hollywood 1947 that it's about communists and patriots in the United States after Second World War trying to make movies. The concept is really strange. I mean, I don't know how things are now in the United States, and what do they think about the communists of that era. So for me, it was strange to say that the patriots were the good guys and the communists were the bad guys. I'm not sure if this is correct, or it's just a concept and they just wanted to do a game. The game is a social deduction game, and secretly you get to be loyal to the communists or to be a patriot. And it follows all the social deduction voting game genre, like Resistance Avalon, like Secret Hitler, basically. And it comes from the Facade games, and the designer is Travis Hancock, who has done also Tortuga 1667
That's a great one.
and Deadwood 1876.
That one is
Not so
okay.
great as Tortuga.
Yeah.
It's again a game played for 5 to 9 players, 30 minutes per play. You are making movies, and the whole idea is that the communist team is trying to make a propaganda movie influenced in favor of the communism, while the patriots are trying to do the opposite. And they are doing so by playing a card on the movie that we're producing every turn. And in the end, these cards are played secretly. And in the end, we're going to count. We're going to to place the cards face up and count how many swastikas and sorry, not swastikas. What is what is the Soviet?
That escalated quickly.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry.
What is the Soviet thing? The communist symbol?
The sickle and hammer.
Thank you, that one. So how many of these are on the cards, and how many eagles, because of the American eagle, is on the cards? And whoever has the most, that means that the movie is in favor of communism or patriotic, let's say,
What a strange theme.
propaganda. So what I liked in this game is that there are different character roles that they make the game very thematic. So I was the editor of the movie, and as the editor, in the end, when everybody has voted, I could pick randomly one card, look at it, and then decide if I want it in the movie or just cut it out because I'm the editor. And the director can do other stuff. There are actors, there are the composers. So it makes the game kind of thematic, having these abilities. Also, the theme, I like the theme, even if I say that, okay, it's kind of, I don't know. I mean, it opens up a discussion about that era. And as a Greek, I'm kind of sensitive because at the same time in Greece, in 1947, we had the Greek Civil War, where the communists were fighting the patriots. I don't know how. I mean, in Greece, we just say the state. And 30 years later, we decided that the communists were also patriots because they were also fighting against the Nazis during the Second World War, even if in the end they preferred the communist future for the country rather than a democratic one.
Yep.
So it opens that discussion, but it's a light game, so maybe it doesn't. Maybe it does open that discussion only in my mind. That's also fair to say. What I didn't like about this game is the randomness. You're drawing 3 cards from the deck, so when you're playing a vote card, you have only 3 cards in your hand. I guess that's okay because sometimes you need to feel blocked, and even if you are a patriot, you can only play a communist card. But there is another mechanism that that you have a dice in front of you, and there is a 50% chance that you're not participating in a movie. So you roll the die, and if the die says that you're not participating, you're not. There are ways to re-roll, but again, it's a 50% chance. Maybe you're bad in rolling. Adding to that, after voting, you are adding randomly from the deck 1 card that nobody knows what it is and it has not been played by the players. Adding to that, after doing that, you are shuffling the voting cards and you are removing 1 card randomly from the voting cards. So you have no clue what anybody played. You just see the outcome. And you are trying to make some assumptions like, okay, these 4 people voted, and it's a communist vote 4-3. But you have already added 1 random card and you have already removed 1 card. So you have no idea what's happening.
Yeah.
So this I didn't like. But I mean, in the genre of, again, social deduction, voting, secret Hitler and stuff, I think all in all, it's a good game. And I would like to play the game.
It reminded me what you were saying of how you resolve things in Battlestar Galactica, where everybody puts a card in, but then there's also like random cards added to it, and then you shuffle it up and then see what the results were. And it always gave you a little bit of like leeway to be like, oh, like, I must have been the random card, yeah, it sounds, I think it works in certain situations, but I think Battlestar Galactica has a lot more around it, right? Like, as opposed to just that being the main thing in the game. So it's interesting. I do think that Tortuga 1667 was fantastic. I really enjoyed that game.
Yeah.
I didn't like Salem 1692 when I tried it. And
did you play that?
I did, yeah. And I didn't like Deadwood 1876 when we played it in Essen. I wasn't a big fan of it.
Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah. But yeah, this one sounds interesting. I like the theme as well. I think you could have a nice conversation afterwards if you have the right people there. And it doesn't sound like you have to think too hard. So you could probably have the conversation while you're playing it. So
while you're playing that.
Yeah.
Well, it was one thing that was funny is that in the end of the game, one of the Patriots said that, they won. And he said, oh, we won. I told you I'm one of the good guys. So like
you hated that assumption. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, that was strange for me.
Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah. I think, I think the American sort of North American bias to it just assumes like patriot means good, communist means bad. But for me, all nationalism is pretty bad. So I think it depends on like your perspective. Yeah. Like putting a country before human life for me is automatically a bad thing. But I think that's a political discussion to be had another time. Maybe not on this podcast. Maybe we start a new one. But
we always say so, but we never
call
do,
it
Elias.
The politics of board games. It's
oh my God, that would be a hit. That would be a hit.
All right. We can invite Dan Carlin on just to steal some of his viewers because I know he plays like tabletop war games, so he can use some of that. But yeah,
oh my God.
Thank you for sharing that. That's very interesting. And I'm glad you got to try another one in the series because, there could be another gem like Tortuga. So who knows? On the theme of you, my friend, the editor, Hippocrates, we're about to put on our production of the Tabletop Session Awards 2023. And I'm going to hand over to the project manager, director / editor and producer, one-man renaissance show, Hippocrates Nastopoulos, the Tabletop Session Awards 2023.
Oh my God. I'm so happy because we have not done this for 3 years now.
Yeah.
And for the people that don't know, we started this in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
And so we ran it for 4 years, and then COVID happened. And we stopped doing it every year.
Yep.
And what we usually do is we ask for our friends and listeners to vote for their favorite party game, their favorite, let's say, weekday game, a game that you can play, a short game that you can play on a weekday, their favorite long day game like Weekend, like 18xx or Dominant Species, some things like that, and their favorite game that they have played in the last year. So that's usually a new game, but not always.
No. And I want to specify, because everyone's always confused by this. This is a snapshot of what our listeners and our community has been enjoying in the last year. It does not have to be games that came out in 2023. The way our awards work is not about release date, but about what the TTS community, TTS Tabletop Sessions,
appreciated what we appreciated lately.
I want to point out the Tabletop Simulator came later than Tabletop Sessions, so they stole our acronym.
Is that true?
I don't know. I'm just going to make the claim and we'll see later. But TTS is our community. This is like what our community loved in 2023. It could be a game from 1923. Okay? That's just how it works. All right. So I'm going to hand off to our host because I don't know any of these. So I'm going to be, hearing it same as the rest of you. Before editing.
Important. So Elias is representing the listeners and hearing this for the first time. I'm going to give you some statistics, of course, as I always do. We had 33 submissions, which is equal to what we had in 2017. So it's not a record. I thought it was 34 and we had a record, but apparently there was an empty row. So I was disappointed by that. But these listeners, they voted 217 games.
Wow.
And that was like too many games suggested by our listeners. So that was a huge diversity, maybe depicting the fact that we have also two different communities next to us from Canada and Qatar at the same time. I have also to mention the fact that I added a question in the form, which says, my mom says I'm from that place. And I did that because if I was asking people, where do you live? I know in Qatar, they live in Qatar, but I want to know where are they from? I mean, are they from Syria, from India? And I didn't want to ask, where are you from? I don't know why. I mean, it feels like...
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it feels not straightforward, I would say.
Yeah.
So I like the idea of asking what your mom says. Where are you from according to your mom? Because I know, like, my kids, like, they have spent all their lives in Qatar, but if they ask their mom, they're Greek. So I was thinking this is funny, and it's a funny way to place a question like that. And of course, as expected from board gamers, we received some very interesting answers to that question. And my favorite one is the first, which says, my mom says I'm from heaven. And then we had some other more science fiction responses, like my mom says I'm from outer space. My mom says I'm from a volcano. My mom says I'm from Mars. My mom says I'm from Tacoland. And I believe that's Sergio. And Tacoland is Mexico.
Just
There are some more emotional ones saying that my mom says I'm from her heart. Oh. And my mom says I'm from my mom says I'm from a different planet. My mom says I'm from play school. My mom's usually disowns me. And effectively, we got one answer that I didn't see coming, but then I thought that maybe that wasn't the correct question to ask. And the response was, I don't have a mom.
Oh no.
So
Yeah,
so I want to apologize to people that spent some time helping us.
to orphans.
If I made
Sorry.
if I
I'm
made
a bad
a
person.
sad
I'm a bad person.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm very happy listening to us, and I'm very happy that you filled that form and you helped us find the best games for the Tabletop Session Awards of 2023.
And we hope that in some way that fills up your life enough to replace having a mom.
Yeah, I wouldn't go there, but okay, yeah, you can say that.
I'm gonna cut this out.
okay,
I'm gonna cut this out.
some other things that I would like to say is that sometimes people were voting specific versions of a game or specific editions, and I have to merge them, and this happened with Twilight Imperium, where I had votes for Twilight Imperium 3 and 4.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah.
Gloom and Frosthaven.
That's
I'm
fine.
not sure.
They're very similar.
Werewolf and One Night Werewolf.
Sure. Yeah.
Steam and Age of Steam.
Yep.
And Nemesis and Nemesis Lockdown.
Yeah, that's fine.
Now, as the last thing about the process, the tiebreakers were most first places. If there was a tie in the points received by a game, then which game received the most first rankings. And second tiebreaker was most people voted for that game.
Gotcha.
So without further ado, let's go to the best party games of 2023 according to TTS, starting of course with number 3. Wait, any guesses?
No, I mean, I have no idea who voted. Like, I know like 4 people who voted in this thing. So yeah.
So I'm gonna say that the winner of the 2020 Tabletop Session Awards was the Crypto
party games.
And this time, number 3 was Blood on the Clock Tower.
Nice.
A game from 2022 by Stephen Medway. We have talked about this game a lot. Social deduction, 6 to 16 players. I love this game. I think that was the game that I voted for. I'm not sure.
I could probably tell you that it's definitely the game you voted for. Just the amount of times you've brought it up on the podcast is definitely the game you voted for.
I cannot help it. Yeah.
Congratulations, Blood on the Clock Tower. I haven't played it. It's just so expensive to get a copy. Like, it's just, I need to find
for no
someone
reason,
who
by the way.
has it. Yeah, for the box, I guess, because you can like organize stuff in the box, I guess. So
that's true. I mean, no, the quality is very good of the components, but at the same time, for 1 year we were playing my print and play version until the version that my friend had kickstarted came to Qatar, and I didn't see the difference, to be honest. I mean, I understand that the game itself is better, and of course, it's a good thing to pay the designers and the distributors and the developers for their work. But at the same time, if you cannot find the game, feel free to enjoy it. I would say that.
Yeah.
So that was number 3. So party game number 2.
So it's just to define, you're saying basically came in third, came in second, and then winner, right?
Correct.
Runner-ups. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, yes. So number 2 was the Crypto.
Oh, wow. Still going after all these years.
The previous winner with Thomas Degenet L'Espérance, the designer, 2018, and 3 to 8 players. I love the Crypto. The Crypto holds also, as Blood in the Clock Tower, holds also a special place in my heart because it was a gift from you in Essen, and so it carries so many memories.
I'm so sweet.
And also actually, it's an excellent game.
No, really, it is. I bought a copy myself after we left.
Really?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
I mean, when you bought the game in Essen, we were thinking it's a great idea, but nowadays I think it's the best in its genre. I think
it's very good. It's very good. And to give everyone an idea,
games, let's say,
before we announce, so in 2016, the winner of the party game was Codenames. 2017, Monikers. 2018, Vegas Wits and Wagers. 2019, Decrypto. And in 2023, we seem to have a new winner. I'd be surprised if it was any of the other ones. Are we ready?
What would you say if I say it's one of the previous ones?
Say that's a little anticlimactic. Thank you for...
it is anticlimactic, and it is Monikers.
No!
By Alex Hag and Justin Vickers.
Who voted for it?
Released in 2015.
Boo.
People still play Monikers, and there are several expansions, and
I have literally
it's
like
still a good
all
game.
the expansions. Yeah, it's a good game. I'm probably gonna get it played over Christmas. Like, it's a good game.
Yeah, I mean, yes, exactly. Yeah, it's the game that you can very easily place it on the table and say, okay, guys, I'm gonna teach you a game.
I was hoping my choice would be number one, but I guess not.
What was your choice?
I think I picked Station Fall.
Station Fall.
Which is like a 3-hour game, so I don't know how much of a party game it is, but
yeah.
I
can give you some insights for the Station Fall, like nobody else voted for it.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. Well, congratulations, Moniker's 2-time winner of the TTS Community. What is this award show called? TTS Awards Party Game 2023.
Yes. Or TTSA.
The 2023 TTS Awards for Party Games. Moniker.
Yes.
All right. Congratulations. It's definitely a great game. I didn't mean to. I just wanted a new winner because I did that whole build up. But Monikers is solid. I have a lot of the expansions and I love it. And we even add like extra rounds to it when we played just to get more and more ridiculous. Some of the shut up and sit down recommended stuff. And it's just a fun time. Yeah. Like, remember we did the one where you like could only use your hands on top of the chair. How ridiculous it got. It's just a good time.
It was so funny. So funny.
Well done.
We should. By the way, I have played Monikers a lot the last year, but we're not playing with the fourth round. We should incorporate the fourth round again. That's a note.
Definitely. All right, what's the next category?
So the next category is the Tuesday games, as I call them, or like the shorter
weekday games. Yeah. So previous winners have been in 2016, Psy. 2017, Russian Railroads. 2018, it was a tie between Seventh Continent and Wildcatters. And in 2019, it was Era, Medieval Age. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, correct. So great games in our previous awards. Let's see what happened this time. Number 3 in this category is Hit, Pedal to the Metal.
Nice. I think I might have voted for that one. That's a good one.
By Asger Harding Granerad, Daniel Skold Pedersen, these guys, they have done the Flamme Rouge game,
That's right. Yeah.
which is an excellent racing game, and they incorporated the best mechanisms I feel in the hit game, which is, I think it's like one of the best racing games out there right now. And because they resolved this problem with the games that they need a lot of players and you are wasting a lot of time waiting for each round, now you just play simultaneously and that's all. You're just moving all together.
Congratulations to Heat. It's an excellent game. Cannot recommend it more.
Excellent game.
Actually, I have a story about Heat.
Game.
So when I was in DC, staying at my friend who doesn't play board games, they had a copy of Heat. They were like, my brother-in-law bought it for us, and we thought we wanted to buy you a copy, but then we were like, Elias probably already has a copy. But like, it's gaining some like mass market appeal, which I'm glad to hear, because I think it has a lot of solid hobby mechanisms, and it introduces people to a game that can be fun and fast-paced and good for a big group or a family, but doesn't have to be just dice rolling. And I'm really glad that it's doing that. It's the opposite of gatekeeping.
Exactly, yeah.
I love it. So well-deserved.
You're right. It appeals to everybody, yes.
Yeah.
And you can make it as simple or as complicated as you want. I mean, there are expansions, variants, and you can add cards. Anyway, excellent choice for number 3. Number 2, another excellent choice according to myself. That's Concordia. Mac Gertz. It's an old game, 2013. It's 10 years old now. 2 to 5 players. But it's like Hit. It's very hard to find a person that doesn't like Concordia. That's the problem, I guess. I mean, if it's a problem.
No, it's one of the few it still hits the table all the time in all the groups that I know, and it's like the best trading in the Mediterranean game in terms of its mechanism, and it's really good. For me, I feel like it's fine. It's a good game. It's not offensive to like anyone, but it's not a game that I would vote for as like.
It's not offensive to anyone. What does that mean?
I mean, like nobody's gonna dislike it. Like you said, like nobody's gonna say, "Oh, that Concordia sucked." But like, are there any exciting emotions in the game? No. Like I
see what you're saying. Yeah.
It's like saying the runner up is like a really good like B+ game, like and that's how I feel about this. But I'm happy that a lot of people like it. It's a good game. So
let's say that I have played Concordia many times in the last year, and it's hard to come up with a story to tell in the podcast.
Exactly. Oh, that one time we used the salsa expansion. Yeah.
And we sold some salt in Egypt. It was so hot.
So hot that time. I had to switch to sandals. Yeah. Congratulations, Concordia. Runner up.
And the winner is a game from 2016. Played with 1 to 5 players, where you play a corporation that initiates huge projects to raise the temperature, the oxygen level, and the ocean coverage into the environment in Mars.
Who are all these people voting?
This is Terraforming Mars, as you correctly guessed, from Jacob Vixilius. I don't know, I really didn't see that coming, but I understand that Terraforming Mars is a huge success as a board game. I mean, I can find it in Qatar, in a bookstore. Actually, I saw in Borders yesterday.
I'm thinking the move is to stop letting our listeners vote for stuff. Because apparently they just like mass market stuff. Like this is what they like. They like generic games you're supposed to like.
Wait. This is why we're doing this, because later we're going to do our top 50 and then people will see.
That would be coming on episode 50. Look out for it. People will see what real taste looks like.
but Terraforming Mars didn't win another Tuesday Games Award, right?
No,
So
it's the
this
first
is-
time, so it is a new winner, and it is again a good game. I have the big version, and I really like it. It's like Concordia, which is like it's a game I'm happy to play anytime. It's just not like exciting me. I'm not chomping at the bit for this game, you know. So
You know, a funny thing about Terraforming Mars, I played it. I started playing it with Sergio and another two guys 1 month ago, I think, and I was so happy playing it. I was thinking this is such a good game, and after like 30 minutes, somebody had to go, and we stopped the game, and we didn't play it. We didn't finish the game, and I was thinking, oh, I was not remembering Terraforming Mars like that. That it was such a good game. And then next week, I said to my friend, "Okay, let's play Terraforming Mars again." And we played it, and it was like 2.5 hours,
wow.
and it was so boring in the end. and I was thinking maybe that's the problem with me. It's too long for what it is. If it was an 1 hour game, it would have been fantastic, or maybe 90 minutes. I think it's too long for what it is. Anyway,
I do
that's
like
just,
it. I do want to say like yeah, but I will play that a lot. I think it's one of the better tableau building games out there. But yeah, it's just again, it just feels a little not exciting, maybe as a choice. Like so far, the most
yeah.
exciting thing we've
I
heard
mean-
has been Blood on the Clock Tower and maybe Heat. You know what I mean? Like that's that's how I felt. But
Yeah, but we should talk about the winners, I guess.
yeah, let's go
No?
Terraforming Mars. Yeah. Congratulations, Terraforming Mars. You deserve it. Actually, they do. They're selling really well, and it's a great game, and a lot of people have heard of it.
They do.
Terraforming Mars, Tuesday game,
And-
best weekday game of the TTS community 2023. Congratulations.
And Elias, I'm gonna say after this award, they're gonna say even harder.
Okay. I'm sure that's the case.
And okay, now let's move on to my favorite category, which is the long weekend games, because I think it's my favorite category.
Would you
because
like
I
me to
love
name
long
some previous
games.
winners of this category?
Yes. Oh, yes, please. Yes.
In 2016, the correct winner won, which was Virgin Queen. In 2017, it was Game of Thrones, the board game. In 2018, it was Food Chain Magnate. In 2019, it was Feudum. Let me just say, this category has had some really good winners. Like I'm excited to see
Yeah.
who's going to join the pantheon.
Game of Thrones is like,
Yeah, it
Separate
sticks out like a
category.
sore thumb. Yeah,
I mean, but it's not a bad game, to be honest.
it's okay. Yeah,
Okay, are you ready for number 3?
I am.
Okay, so number 3 is an asymmetric politico-economic card-driven board game for 2 to 5 players that puts you in the role of one of the socio-economic groups in a fictional state.
Hegemony.
The working class, the middle class, correct, the capitalist class, and the state itself. And that's Hegemony. That's a game from 2023. It's a brand new game from Vangelis Bayartakis and Varnavas Timotheou.
The famous designer of
And-
Kitchen Rush.
I'm in love with this game. I have played it so many times. Another friend of mine now ordered his copy, and he's making his own little group of hegemoners. Or, wait, hegemonies?
Sure.
mean,
Hegemonistic.
Hegemons, I guess.
Yes. We have
Anyway, so I'm
yeah,
really excited about this.
we have a copy in the group now, so I'm very excited to finally get a play in. So I mean, I
Oh,
don't want
I'm
to
so
talk about
happy.
it too much on the podcast because you've talked about it a lot. So, but actually, the guy who got it, Carol, said that your excitement on the game is the reason that he picked it up. So,
Oh my God.
Vangelis Bagaratakis, you
Okay.
can send the commission check to ipo@thegreek.com.
I feel honored. Okay, since you mentioned that, now I have to say that unlike Concordia, there are people that have played Hegemony and didn't like it at all.
Good.
So, but not so many. Okay,
That's a good thing.
like Yes, that's true. That's a good thing.
We're not supposed to
It's-
all
it
like
shouldn't be
everything.
for-
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it shouldn't be for
That just
everyone.
means
Then
you're
it should
boring.
be biased.
Exactly. You had nothing interesting happen. Anyway, let's go on to the first runner-up, I guess. Second place.
Yeah, yes. Second place. A game of galactic conquest in which 3 to 6 players take on the role of one of 17 factions
Let's go.
vying for galactic domination through military might, political maneuvering, and economic bargaining. Every faction offers a completely different play experience, from the wormhole hopping ghosts of Kraus to the Emirates of Hakan. I don't know if I pronounced them correctly, you know better.
I do.
Masters of Trade and Economics. And that's Twilight Imperium 4,
Congratulations.
2017 game from Dane Beltrami, Cory Konichka, Christian Petersen. 3 to 6 players. Best with 6.
Terrific game.
And I have to say, Hegemon is supposed to be best with 4 players, by the way.
The best epic space game that I've come across, Twilight Imperium. Until something else beats it, it's the greatest. Plus, I'm part of the lore officially, so, go out there, buy your copies of The Veiled Masters, dramatized edition, audiobook from Graphic Audio, starring yours truly as Tarak, the Hakan trade ambassador. Check it out. It's incredible. Narration is top notch.
I think the last 2 plays that I had with Twilight Imperium were anticlimactic. So they made me not wanting to spend so many hours again for that game.
Get better friends.
That's a good advice always, and I guess, and it applies to everything in this world. So
It does indeed. Yeah.
I guess that's true. I don't know if you don't want to say anything more about Twilight Imperium. Let's move on to the winner of the weekend long games, which is okay. I'm gonna tell you this. Imagine you can control the forces of a noble family, guild, or religious order on a barren planet, which is the only source for the most valuable substance in the known universe.
No way.
And that's Dune.
Oh, just Dune? Not Dune Imperium?
That's
I guess
Dune.
No, Dune beat Twilight Imperium? Oh, no.
It was close.
Oh.
It was close, but Dune
Oh, no.
beats Twilight Imperium. Dune, of course, has a newer edition in 2019. A game from Bill Eberle, Zach Kittredge, and Peter Olotka.
The designers
6
of
player.
Cosmic Encounter.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh.
they are.
Interesting. Okay, so
Yep.
simple mechanisms make the game.
Yeah. Look, Dune's good. I had the original edition, which I was really proud of because it was impossible to get. And it was fun when we played it. It just never hit the way Twilight Imperium hit. Like, it just felt like a lot of the factions, especially the ones that gained all the spice and gained all the, like the Emperor and the Spacing Guild, basically had full control of the resources of the game. And if they allied together, it was, in a 6-player game, it was really hard to not win. Also, not the biggest fan of the combat system, which is like where you put the dial and put the card in and then put the traders. It's okay. It's better than dice, but Dune's a fine game. I'm just, I'm canceling the awards.
No, I mean,
This is the
there are
this is the
certain
last year.
mechanisms that we loved in this game, that you can win as an alliance.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, and each faction has the different way to adapt and compete with the other factions. I mean, it's a very good game, and I'm gonna say that this is kind of biased because all the people I know in Qatar, they love Dune. They play Dune every week.
So you
And,
people ruined it.
Yeah, so it's kind of how do you call when a minority affects the outcome of the like in Eurovision, like if there are like 10% of the people like love something while others are just diversify their
Not
votes.
united. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. So that affects the voting, but still a very good game. And
And
our
everyone who Ipo knows in Qatar is banned from voting in this for the future. Not that June isn't good; it's just not great. Like I don't know. I'm
it's
kind of bummed out
it's the
about the
best
results of this award.
it's the best they know.
Then okay, fine.
Okay, so moving on to best
Let's
game
just
of
say
the
I'm
year.
excited about our top 50. So
Okay, best game of the year. Give me the previous winners, please.
best game, new to us game, right, of the
Yeah,
year. So we
correct.
didn't do this one in 2016. So it starts 2017. The winner was Seventh Continent. 2018, it was The Mind. Wow. And in 2019, it was Wingspan. And those were some solid choices.
The Mind was a trend, really. Like,
I still
like a,
play it.
really?
Yeah. I love The Mind. I can never get enough of The Mind. It's
There were
wonderful.
there
game.
was a time. Actually, I haven't. I was not. I'm not bringing it with me in the game nights anymore. But there, maybe that's my fault because I remember there were times that people were asking, "Okay, did you bring the Mind?" And
Oh,
they were
wow.
they were waiting for it.
Basically, you tried to relieve them of their addiction to this game, which is very kind of you. So, well done.
And by the way, yesterday was the first time that I didn't bring the crypto with me, and people asked me, "Did you bring the crypto?" And I was like,
Wow.
"Oh, I'm sorry. The crypto is such a good game." Yeah, but completely irrelevant. Let's go back to what what we were saying about the best game of the year. So number 3 is I think a game that we have not played. It's Age of Atlantis.
Okay.
It it's a game from 2022. It's an engine building game, civilization like uh, theme and civilization like game, I would say. You are an asymmetric noble house trying to become the most politically powerful, and you will grow your house population and discover new technologies and cultures and defend your city because there are some people trying to get the city. Uh, it's a game that I really liked. I have played it only once. It reminded me of Scythe in regards to that I had my own personal board, with these recesses where you have cubes that are showing the how powerful is your actions, and every time you can unlock new actions and make better stuff, and that was really really exciting. And the mechanisms were solid. To be honest, what I didn't like in that game was um, the graphic design. I would say I didn't like. I mean, the colors were very very dark and mood. I wanted it to be a more happy game. It's a very strange thing to say. I understand now, but I think they could have done something better in the illustrations, maybe. Anyway, it's a game designed by Daniel Aronson, 1 to 4 players, and it's best with 3 players. And we played it 3 players, and it was really great. So
Okay.
check it out, Age of
I
Atlantis.
will. And to clarify for those again, because he said best game of the year and then said it came out in 2022, just to re-clarify, this is best games that were new to our listener community in 2023. So if the first time they played it was 2023, they could vote for this one. All right.
I-
Thank you. I have
ex-
nothing to add because I've not played it.
Exactly. So technically, if everybody had played for their first time in 2023 chess, they could have voted for chess, and it could have been the game of the year.
Damn straight. Yes.
So going to number 2, it's a party game. It's
Okay.
a party game where you have a secret character. All players can control all characters trying to achieve their objectives before the station falls to earth.
Yes! Yes, we did it, guys. We did it. Mindfall. No, Mindfall. Station Fall. We did it.
That's
We
Station
did it.
Fall.
We got a good game in there. We did it. Station Fall. I'm so happy.
It's a very good game from Matt Eklund. 4 to 5 players. Sorry, 1 to 9 players. It's best with 4 or 5 according to BGG. Is that true? Do you think it's true?
Yes.
4 to 5, not more.
Well, no, because it'll just get around to your turn faster. I think
Oh, yeah.
that's kind of the reason. But it does play up to 9, I think, which is pretty cool. So
And it is a game that came out in 2023 according to Board Game Geek.
let's go. Station Fall. We did it, guys. We did it.
So brand new games, guys. Okay, so ready for the number 1 game of the year. It's
Can't wait.
another game that released in 2023. And can you guess?
No. Wait. Let me think a little bit. 2023. You know, my instinct, just because of the people I've talked to, is it a tiny game?
Tiny?
Like small box?
No.
Oh, okay. I was going to say Scout, because I know a lot of people
Oh,
really love
yes.
Scout, but yeah, I guess not. Okay.
Scout, by the way, it was number 4.
Nice. Good.
So it's another good
Tell
game.
me, who's the winner?
So it's Hegemony.
Oh, no.
Lead your class to victory. The game that we just talked
Congratulations.
about, and it was number 3 in the long games. It's also the best game of the year by far.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I think that's fair. Like, we've had a lot of like stuff around it, and
Yeah.
everyone seems to enjoy it in some way. And at least there's been lots of repeat plays. And that's a really good pick. I'm really glad to hear it was that instead of like the new version of Dune Imperium Uprising.
Yes.
Like, I'm really glad that it was an actual like cool like interesting game that's not just like meant to be as non-offensive as possible. That's awesome. That's really cool. Well
was
done
really
to
cool, yes.
Gemini.
And I'm really happy with this list of games where number 4 is Scout and number 5 is Arc Nova.
Very cool. So Scouts and Arc Nova. So basically our top 5 new to our community games in 2023, 5 Arc Nova, 4 Scout, 3 Age of Atlantis, 2 the one and only Station Fall, and 1 Hegemony. Lead your class to victory. Well done. That's a good one. This one made up for the other ones. Well done. That's a good picks right here. So I'm proud of you guys. You pulled it out. You pulled like you were clutch in the last 5 minutes. You know what I mean? I was literally this close to just scrapping the awards forever. So I'm proud of all of you. Well done. And congratulations to Monikers, Terraforming Mars, Dune, and Hegemony, our winners of the 2023 TTS Award.
I want to say that it was a lot of work to set up everything, apparently, but I really enjoyed it.
Yes, thank you, Ipo. Thank you. I appreciate all the work you did. Sorry, I didn't appreciate you.
No, I want to say I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the whole process.
But it was a lot of work. Yeah.
And I would really like to thank everybody for that filled the form and submitted their votes, because they actually did all this. They are the real MVPs.
Damn straight. You're the real MVPs. And that brings us to the end of this tabletop session. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at Tabletop Sessions. Join the conversation or share a fun story of board game shenaniganism. Let us know what you thought of the community choices and our TTS Awards over on BGG Guild. And also check out our YouTube channel. Leave a comment on this. Let us know your thoughts on the winners, the runner-ups, and the ones that you really thought should have won that didn't. You can find the link to all of these in the episode description. We'll be back in a month. And until then, here's to a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and being kind to one another in the new year. Say bye.
Play board games, guys. It's holidays.
Tabletop. Tabletop. Session.
If that one works, you can't do it again except like in 12 episodes. That one's not going to come back until episode 55.
55. Oh, 55. Wait, 43 plus 12. Yeah, 55.
You know me with math. Yeah, I'm the best.